There are moments that divide a life in two, before and after. The person you were and the person you became. For most people, these moments come announced: a diagnosis, a death, a door closing or opening. You see them coming, even if you can't stop them, and you have time to brace yourself for the change. But sometimes, the moment that changes everything is so small, you almost miss it. A Tuesday afternoon, a child crying on a sidewalk, a question you weren't prepared to answer. This is the story of how a little girl I'd never met asked me something I'd been running from for 30 years, and how her question, so simple, so impossible, finally made me stop running. Come sit with me. The fire's warm, and I have time now. I have all the time in the world, and I want to tell you what happened. My name is Thomas Ashworth, and for most of my adult life, I was what the world calls successful. I built my first company at 24, sold it at 30, and used the money to build another, and another. By the time I was 45, I had more wealth than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. Hotels on 3 continents, a restaurant empire that bore my name, properties and investments and holdings that required a team of accountants just to track. I had everything a person could want, everything except the thing I had lost so long ago that I had almost forgotten what it felt like to want it. My daughter's name was Emma. She would have been 32 this year, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not where this story starts, or maybe it is. Maybe every story I tell starts and ends with her, whether I know it or not. Let me begin with the restaurant. Let me begin with the day everything changed. Ashworth's on Madison was my flagship, the crown jewel of the empire I had built. 3 Michelin stars, a 6-month waiting list, the kind of place where captains of industry made deals over Wagyu beef, and politicians celebrated victories with champagne that cost more than most people's monthly rent. I didn't go there often. I had managers for that. Layers of people between me and the day-to-day operations of my businesses. But once a month, I would show up unannounced, walk through the kitchen, inspect the dining room, remind everyone whose name was on the door. It was a Tuesday in late September. The leaves were just starting to turn, and there was a crispness in the air that made the city feel almost clean. I had come from my monthly inspection, had spent an hour terrorizing the staff with questions about napkin folds and sauce consistency, and was leaving through the front entrance already thinking about my next meeting. That's when I saw her. She was sitting on the steps just beside the entrance, a little girl of perhaps 7 or 8. Her clothes were clean but worn, a blue dress that had been washed too many times, shoes that were a size too big. She had dark hair, pulled back in 2 braids, and she was crying. Not the dramatic sobs of a child throwing a tantrum, but something quieter, something that spoke of a grief too large for her small body to contain. People were walking past her, hundreds of them, the endless river of New York pedestrians flowing around this small obstacle without pause. No one stopped, no one even seemed to see her. I should have kept walking too. I had a meeting in 20 minutes, a call with investors in Tokyo, a life that ran on schedules and agendas and the ruthless calculus of time versus money. But something made me stop. Maybe it was the way she was sitting, her arms wrapped around her knees, making herself as small as possible. Maybe it was the sound of her crying, barely audible above the traffic, but somehow the only thing I could hear. Or maybe it was something else entirely, something I wouldn't understand until much later. I walked over to her. I crouched down so I was at her level. "Are you all right?" I asked. "Are you lost?" She looked up at me, and I saw that her eyes were brown. A deep, warm brown that reminded me of something I couldn't quite place. Her face was streaked with tears, but she wasn't embarrassed by them. Children don't know yet that they're supposed to hide their pain. "I'm not lost," she said. Her voice was steady despite the tears. "I know where I am." "Then why are you crying?" She looked at me for a long moment, as if deciding whether I was worth answering. Then she said, "My mom is sick, really sick, and I wanted to bring her something special, something to make her feel better. She used to talk about this restaurant all the time. She said she came here once before I was born, and it was the most beautiful meal she ever had." The girl paused, wiping her nose with the back of her hand. "I saved my allowance for a whole year, but the man inside said it wasn't enough. He said I couldn't even buy a piece of bread." Something shifted in my chest, a tightening that I didn't recognize at first because it had been so long since I'd felt it. "How much do you have?" I asked. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small plastic bag, the kind you might use for sandwiches. Inside were coins and crumpled bills, the accumulated treasure of a child's patience and sacrifice. $47.32, she said. I counted it 3 times. I looked at the bag in her hands, a year of allowance. A year of birthdays and tooth fairy money and whatever small coins she could gather, $47.32, offered up in hope. "What's your mother's name?" I asked. Sarah Mitchell." The name meant nothing to me, but it would. By the end of that day, it would mean everything. I took the girl inside. The host, a young man named Christopher, who had been with us for 2 years, recognized me immediately. His face went pale when he saw my expression. "Mr. Ashworth, I didn't realize you were still—" "This young lady," I said, cutting him off, "tells me that she tried to purchase a meal and was turned away." Christopher's eyes darted to the girl, then back to me. "Sir, she didn't have a reservation, and the amount she had, our appetizers alone start at—" "I know what our appetizers cost. I set the prices." I kept my voice level, but something must have shown in my face because Christopher took a step back. "Did you ask her why she was here? Did you ask who the meal was for?" "Sir, we get people all the time who—" "Did you ask?" He fell silent. I turned to the girl. "What's your name?" "Lily," she said. She wasn't intimidated by the surroundings or by Christopher's obvious discomfort. She was looking around the restaurant with wide eyes, taking in the crystal chandeliers, the white tablecloths, the flowers on every table. "Well, Lily, I own this restaurant, and I would very much like to know more about your mother." We sat at a table by the window, Lily and I, while the lunch service flowed around us. I ordered her a hot chocolate and a plate of the pastries that the kitchen made for our VIP guests. She ate with the unself-conscious appetite of a child. But between bites, she told me about her mother. Sarah Mitchell had been a dancer. Not famous, not wealthy, but talented enough to perform with a small company that toured regional theaters. She had met Lily's father at a performance in Boston. He had been in the audience, and he had waited at the stage door afterward just to tell her that her dancing had made him cry. They had married young, had Lily a year later. And then, when Lily was 3, her father had been killed in a car accident. A drunk driver, a rainy night, a life ended in an instant. Sarah had stopped dancing after that. She had taken a job as a receptionist at a doctor's office, a job that paid the bills but slowly wore away at something inside her. She never complained, Lily said. She never talked about the life she had given up. But sometimes, late at night, Lily would see her mother standing by the window, moving her arms in slow arcs, dancing a dance that no one else could see. And now, Sarah was sick. Cancer, though Lily didn't know that word yet. She only knew that her mother was in the hospital, that the doctors spoke in hushed voices, that the apartment was too quiet without her. "She talks about this restaurant sometimes," Lily said, sipping her hot chocolate. "She came here with my dad on their first anniversary. She said it was like being in a fairy tale. She said the food was so beautiful, she almost didn't want to eat it. And you wanted to bring her something from here." Lily nodded. "I thought if she could taste it again, maybe she would remember being happy. Maybe it would help her get better." She looked down at her cup. "That's silly, isn't it?" "No," I said, and I meant it. "No, Lily, that's not silly at all." I asked Lily where her mother was being treated. She told me, and something cold settled in my stomach. It was the same hospital where my daughter had died. I don't believe in signs. I don't believe in fate or destiny or any of the comforting stories we tell ourselves to make sense of a senseless universe. But sitting there, listening to this child who had saved her allowance for a year to buy her dying mother a taste of happiness, I felt something I hadn't felt in decades. Emma had been 6 when she died. Leukemia, the cruelest kind, the kind that takes children from their parents in a matter of months. We had done everything, the best doctors, the experimental treatments, the desperate bargains with a God I wasn't sure existed. None of it had been enough. After she died, something in me died too. My marriage crumbled within a year. My wife and I couldn't look at each other without seeing what we had lost. I threw myself into work with a ferocity that frightened everyone around me. I built and acquired and accumulated, filling the emptiness with things that could be counted and measured. I told myself I had moved on, that I had processed my grief and emerged stronger. But the truth was, I had never processed anything. I had simply buried it so deep that I had forgotten where the grave was. Now, looking at this little girl with her braids and her bag of coins and her impossible faith that a meal could heal her mother, I felt that grave shift. "Lily," I said, "I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly." She looked at me with those brown eyes waiting. "Why did you think this would work? Why did you think bringing your mother food from a restaurant would make her better?" She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Because when she talks about it, her eyes change. She looks like she used to look before Daddy died, before she got sick." Lily paused, choosing her words carefully. "I know food can't fix cancer. I'm not stupid. But maybe it can remind her of who she was. And maybe if she remembers who she was, she'll want to fight harder to stay. I couldn't speak. The simplicity of it, the devastating clarity, had taken my breath away. My mom says that love isn't just a feeling, Lily continued. She says it's what you do, the little things you do every day to show someone they matter. She looked down at her bag of coins, still sitting on the table. This is what I can do. It's the only thing I can do. I drove Lily to the hospital myself. My security team was baffled. My assistant called 3 times, reminding me about meetings I was missing. I turned off my phone. The hospital was exactly as I remembered it. The same antiseptic smell, the same hushed hallways, the same sense of time slowing down as you approach the places where life and death negotiated their terms. I had sworn, after Emma died, that I would never set foot in this building again. I had kept that promise for 25 years. But here I was, walking beside a little girl with braids, carrying bags of food from my own restaurant, heading toward room 412 in the oncology wing. Sarah Mitchell was asleep when we arrived. She was thin, far thinner than she should have been, with the translucent quality that illness brings. But even so, I could see traces of the dancer she had been, the elegant line of her neck, the grace of her hands resting on the blanket, the way she seemed, even in sleep, to be holding a pose. Lily climbed onto the bed carefully, curling up next to her mother. She didn't say anything. She just lay there, her small body pressed against Sarah's, her hand finding her mother's hand. I set down the bags of food quietly and turned to leave. Wait. The voice was weak, barely more than a whisper. Sarah had opened her eyes. You're him? She said. Thomas Ashworth. I recognize you from the photos in the restaurant. I nodded. Why are you here? I didn't know how to answer. How do you explain to a dying woman that her daughter had wandered into your restaurant with $47 and a heart full of hope? How do you explain that a 7-year-old had done what 25 years of therapy and wealth and distraction had failed to do, had reached into the locked room where you kept your grief and forced open the door? Your daughter, I finally said, reminded me of someone I lost. Sarah looked at Lily, then back at me. Something passed between us, an understanding that didn't require words. Stay, she said. Please, have dinner with us. So I did. We spread the food out on the hospital tray table, delicate bites of things that Sarah could barely eat, but that she savored with her eyes and her words. She told me about the night she and her husband had eaten at Ashworth's, about the way the candlelight had caught his face, about the toast he had made to their future. We thought we had all the time in the world, she said. Everyone does, I suppose. Lily ate her own dinner, listening to stories about a father she barely remembered, and I sat in a plastic chair by the window, watching the light change over the city, feeling something ancient and frozen beginning to thaw. I told them about Emma. I hadn't told anyone about Emma in 20 years, had avoided even saying her name, but the words came out, halting at first and then rushing like water from a broken dam. The way she used to laugh, the songs she would sing in the bathtub. The last time I held her hand, when it was so small and hot with fever, and I would have given everything I owned to trade places with her. She would have been about your age, I told Lily. A little older, 32 this year. Do you miss her? Lily asked. The question was so direct, so unguarded, that it cut through all my defenses. Every day, I said. Every single day. Lily nodded, as if this made perfect sense. That's how I'll miss my mom, she said quietly. When she's gone. Sarah made a sound that might have been a sob or might have been a laugh. She reached out and pulled Lily closer. Not yet, she said. Not yet, baby. I'm still here. Sarah Mitchell died 3 months later. She lived longer than the doctors expected, and I like to think, I need to believe, that our visits had something to do with it. I went every week, bringing food from the restaurant, sitting with her and Lily as the autumn turned to winter and the light grew shorter. We talked about everything, her dancing, my businesses, the ways we had each tried to outrun our grief, and the ways it had caught up with us anyway. She told me that after her husband died, she had considered giving up entirely, that she had kept going only because of Lily, because someone had to be there when she woke up in the morning, because love was a verb, not a noun, and the verb required showing up. You've been given a gift, she told me, near the end. Lily showed you something you had forgotten. Don't waste it. I won't, I said. I promise. When she died, I was there. Lily was there too, holding her mother's hand, singing a song that Sarah used to sing to her at bedtime. Sarah's eyes were closed, but I think she heard it. I think she went out on the sound of her daughter's voice, carried into whatever comes next on a wave of love. I adopted Lily 6 months after her mother's funeral. It wasn't planned. It wasn't part of any strategy or calculation. It was simply the only thing that made sense, the only answer to the question that Lily had asked me without words every time she looked at me with those brown eyes. She lives with me now in a house that used to echo with silence and is now filled with the sounds of a child. Her drawings cover the refrigerator. Her books spill off the shelves. Her laughter fills the rooms that had been empty for so long, I had forgotten rooms could sound any other way. I sold half my businesses, the ones that had mattered too much, that had consumed my time and attention at the expense of everything else. I kept Ashworth's on Madison, but I changed the policy. Now, once a month, we open the doors for families who could never afford to eat there. We serve them the same food, at the same tables, with the same care. And at the end of the meal, we ask them to tell us about someone they love. Lily helps sometimes. She's 15 now, tall and graceful like her mother, with the same brown eyes that saw through me on a Tuesday afternoon 7 years ago. She wants to be a dancer, and she has the talent for it. I sit in the audience at her recitals and watch her move across the stage, and I think of Sarah dancing alone by the window, and Emma, who never got to grow up, and all the ways that love continues beyond the boundaries of a single life. The fire is burning low now. Outside, the stars are coming out, the same stars that have watched over every joy and sorrow in human history. I've been thinking about what Lily said to me that first day, about love being something you do, not something you feel, about the $47 she had saved, coin by coin, because it was the only thing she could do to help her mother. I had spent 25 years accumulating things that could be measured: money, properties, power. I had filled my life with success and emptied it of meaning, and it took a 7-year-old girl crying on the steps of my own restaurant to show me what I had been missing. We're not here to accumulate. We're here to give, to show up, to sit by the bedsides of the people we love and hold their hands as they go, to save our allowance coin by coin, because it's the only thing we can do. To love as a verb every day, in the small acts that say, I see you, you matter, I'm still here. That's what Lily taught me. That's what Sarah taught me in her dying. That's what Emma tried to teach me all those years ago, when she looked up at me from her hospital bed with eyes that were already looking somewhere else and said, Don't be sad, Daddy, I'll wait for you. I'm still learning. I'll be learning for the rest of my life. But I'm here now, in a way I wasn't before, present, awake, grateful for every moment, even the painful ones, because every moment is a gift we didn't have to be given. Lily asked me once what I would have done if I had just walked past her that day. If I had kept my head down, checked my phone, hurried on to my next meeting like everyone else on that sidewalk. I don't know, I told her honestly. I probably would have kept living the way I was living, getting richer and lonelier, dying by inches without realizing it. But you stopped, she said. I stopped. Why? I thought about it for a long time. The truth was, I didn't know why. Something in her posture, something in her tears, something that reached through the armor I had built and touched the wound I had been hiding for 25 years. I think your mother sent me, I finally said. Or Emma did. Or maybe the universe just decided I had suffered enough, and it was time to learn a different way. Lily smiled. I think it was all of them, she said. I think they work together. Maybe she's right. Maybe there are forces moving through this world that we can't see or measure. Forces that arrange small miracles for those of us who need them. Or maybe it was just chance. Just a coincidence that put me on that sidewalk at that moment, that made me look when everyone else looked away. Either way, I'm grateful. I'm more grateful than I can say. The fire's almost out now. I should probably let you go, let you get some rest. But before I do, I want to ask you something. The same question, really, that Lily asked me with her tears and her coins and her impossible faith. Who have you been walking past? Who have you been too busy, too important, too protected to see? We all do it. We build walls around our hearts because the world is hard and loss is unbearable and caring too much seems like a risk we can't afford. But the walls don't protect us. They just make us alone. Somewhere out there, right now, someone is sitting on the steps of your life, crying about something you can't fix. You can walk past them. Most people do. Or you can stop. You can crouch down. You can look into their eyes and ask them why they're sad. You might not be able to solve their problem. You probably can't. But you can sit with them. You can witness their pain. You can show them, in the only way that matters, that they are not alone. That's what Lily did for me. She didn't save me by giving me something. She saved me by needing something I had almost forgotten I could give. My attention, my presence, my willingness to let my heart break one more time. The fire's out now, just embers, glowing orange in the darkness. But the warmth stays with you if you let it. The warmth stays. Good night, friend. Tomorrow, when you're walking through the world, look for the ones who are crying. Look for the ones who are invisible. Look for the children with their impossible hopes and their tiny bags of coins. And maybe, if you're brave enough, stop. You never know whose life you might save. You never know whose life might save yours. Sleep well, may your dreams be gentle, and may you find the courage tomorrow to see